In Germany, a residence permit revoked because of Hitler picture in WhatsApp status. In France, the new left-wing coalition condemns the terrorist massacres. In Germany, a residence permit revoked because of Hitler picture in WhatsApp status. In France, the new left-wing coalition condemns the terrorist massacres of Hamas on October 7. U.S. says Houthis seek allies in bid to upend global shipping. Zelensky rejects Putin's Hitler-like ultimatum for truce, drop its NATO bid. As Putin offers ceasefire if Ukraine exits Russian-claimed areas and drops NATO bid. Kiev calls proposal absurd. Putin says almost 700,000 Russian troops fighting in Ukraine. Kiev to get $1.5 billion from frozen Russian assets in July, and Putin denounced freezing of Russian assets as theft, which will not go unpunished. 2,500-year-old slate containing drawings of battle scenes and Palea alphabet discovered in Spain. Astronomers discover an Earth-sized exoplanet orbiting a nearby ultracool dwarf star. Physicists confirm quantum entanglement persists between top quarks, the heaviest known fundamental particles. Bond king Bill Gross sells rare stamp for record $4.4 million. Ripple rejects SEC's $2 billion fine for unreasonableness citing Terraform settlement. Nigerian agency drops tax evasion charges against Binance executives. Russia, Iran boost trade turnover by 48% in Q1 2024. Turkey 90% likely to cede second NPP project in Sinop to Russia. North Korea building roads, walls inside demilitarized zone, announces Yonhap. Medical data firm Tempus AI rises after $410.7 million IPO. AI chatbot popularity surges among U.S. students, teachers as per a survey. Pixar teams up with Getty Images to offer chimerically safe, AI-generated art. U.S. submarine pulls into Guantanamo Bay a day after Russian warships arrive in Cuba. Vietnam seeks to gradually expand security, defense ties with U.S. As China ties deepen, Malaysia's Anwar Ibrahim says, geopolitics is no zero-sum game. Kim sent Russia millions of artillery shells, South Korea says. Zelensky says China she told him he won't sell Russia weapons. The first Bayraktar TB2S arrived in Romania 1 year ago. Romania awards $321 million contract for Turkish TB2 combat drones. Kieran Culkin says he didn't know what Home Alone was about while filming. Benicio del Toro cast a new Paul Thomas Anderson movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. Anthony Bourdain's Bloody Chef graphic novels. Get Jiro receives series treatment at Adult Swim. REM plays first public performance in years at Songwriters Hall of Fame induction. Wheel of Fortune's Pat Sajak officially passes hosting baton to Ryan Seacrest with Vanna White. Charles Barkley says he will retire from TNT after next season, complicating Warner's NBA bid. Donald Trump's case against state of Georgia to be spotlighted in BBC feature documentary. Catherine, Princess of Wales, making good progress against cancer and is set for first public appearance in months. Prestigious Emirati Education Award goes to Israeli professor. Alito says he's sure Congress wanted to ban a rapid-fire gun device, but sided with the ruling to overturn the ban anyway, as U.S. Supreme Court rejects Trump-era ban on bump stocks, gun accessory from Vegas massacre. Johnson says House will go to court for Biden recordings, after Department of Justice says it won't prosecute Attorney General Garland. Trump attributes presence of Russian ships at the port of Havana to Biden's weakness. In the UK, fury as Nigel Farage brands Putin clever, and says Ukraine should negotiate. Nigel Farage says he is leader of the opposition after Reform UK poll boost. Nobody knows how to deal with Nigel Farage, says former Labour strategist. Australia, US dominate global unaffordability rankings, with impossibly unaffordable housing. Canadian mortgage delinquencies rise 24%. Ontario hits $1 billion, as per Equifax. Unhappy workers may reduce global GDP by as much as 9%, Gallup estimates. In Canada, 80% of Nunavut teachers experience violence this year, new study says. China #MeToo journalist sentenced to 5 years in jail, supporters say. In Germany, record cocaine haul worth billions of euros seized. South Africa set for new coalition government as the late Nelson Mandela's ANC is forced to share power, as South Africa's President Ramaphosa is re-elected for second term after a dramatic late coalition deal. Italy accused of scrapping safe abortion guarantee from G7 declaration, And Italy denies removing LGBTQ and abortion references from G7 declaration. Polish government plans 7.6% minimum wage rise in 2025. iOS 18 gains emergency SOS live video support. Vocal shortcuts will let you create voice triggers for any command, without saying Siri. Moto Tag item tracker appears on certification website. Radical new Fiat Panda revealed with EV and petrol power. A Spark's new prototype just obliterated the Rimac Nivara's EV speed record. Tesla investors back Musk's $56 billion pay deal. Texas move. Former head of NSA joins OpenAI board. OpenAI taps veteran of Nextdoor and Square as new CFO. Dismisses IPO speculation. Reuters reported that Pentagon ran secret anti-vaccine campaign to undermine China during pandemic. New Zealand tourists offered visa-free access to China, triggering a surge in China-related online searches. Taylor Swift's London Eras tour could delay Bank of England rate cut, analysts say. In Russia, inflation accelerating to 8.3% in May 2024, as per statistics, and Russian Statistical Service confirms GDP growth by 5.4% in Q1 2024. World Bank boosts forecast, strength of U.S. economy will support global growth of 2.6% in 2024. U.S. business travel industry responsible for almost 2% of U.S. GDP and 3.5% of employment in latest full-year figures. Donald Trump's income tax cut would cost average family $5,000, claims an economist. Recently in CEO meeting, Trump promised more tax cuts. Sonos privacy policy change suggests it might sell your data. Google faces GDPR complaint over privacy sandbox, as Austrian group accuses Google of tracking users on Chrome browser. Mozilla has restored access to extensions to bypass blocking in Russia. Chimpanzees understand that they are sometimes relying on luck when making guesses, research suggests. Montana photographer captures mind-blowing images of rare white bison reportedly born at Yellowstone, as Yellowstone visitors hope to glimpse rare white buffalo from Native American prophecy. 23 sets of twins graduate from a single Massachusetts middle school. There's an AI candidate running for parliament in the UK. Wrestling legend Hulk Hogan reveals stance on potential run for office. I know right from wrong, brother. In France, crisis at LR, as the exclusion of Eric Ciotti from the presidency suspended by the courts. Moscow partially flooded by torrential rainfall. Ron DeSantis cuts stormwater flooding funding amid Florida deluge. Apple punishes women for same behaviors that get men promoted, lawsuit says. Worker fired for pregnancy sues Elon Musk's Neuralink after scratches from herpes monkey. Wells Fargo fired a dozen people accused of faking keyboard strokes. FAA investigating how counterfeit titanium got into Boeing and Airbus jets. Southwest Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 8 plunged within 400 feet of ocean near Hawaii. China overtakes U.S. in global car sales for the first time. CEOs tell CNBC Trump was meandering, could not keep a straight thought. And Joe Biden will make more gaffes than Donald Trump in live TV debate, poll suggests. Trump says pilots, like beautiful Tom Cruise but taller, told him UFOs exist. Joe Biden wishes Trump a happy birthday from one old guy to another. Pope Francis tells G7 that humans must not lose control of AI, as Pope Francis urges ban on lethal AI weapons in historic G7 speech. Stanford's top disinformation research group collapses under pressure. Microsoft delays controversial recall feature for Copilot Plus PCs. EU member states greenlight Ukraine. Moldova negotiating frameworks. Bridges, not walls. Vatican says maintaining diplomatic ties with Russia is important. Apple set to be first big tech group to face charges under EU digital law. Meta pauses AI models launch in Europe due to Irish request. Indonesia minister threatens to shut down X over adult content. EU commissioner announces EU will match Russia's ammunition production in 2025. Russia may store 100 nuclear warheads in Kaliningrad Oblast, Polish FM claims. Russia withdrawing from protocol to Transboundary Air Pollution Convention. Bloomberg analyst predicts July 2nd launch for spot Ethereum ETF. Taiwan crypto advocacy body becomes formally active with 24 entities. 94% of central banks considering wholesale CBDCs, says BIS. Undercover Israeli spies posed as Palestinians and lived in Gaza near hostages to plot daring rescue mission. Hamas official says, no one has any idea how many Israeli hostages are still alive. Hamas armed wing says Israeli airstrike killed 2 hostages in Rafah. U.S. designates Scandinavian neo-Nazi group and 3 leaders as terrorists. U.S. sanctions Israeli group Sov-9 that attacked aid convoys threaten peace. U.S. Justice Department announces anticipated distribution of at least $940 million to victims of state-sponsored terrorism in 2025. Zelensky arrives in Switzerland as 92 countries confirm peace summit attendance. Switzerland receives 100 state guests for summit on peace in Ukraine. BRICS leaders not to attend conference on Ukraine in Switzerland, as Ukraine struggles to court Global South before Swiss summit. Putin discloses he spoke with Obama amid 2014 coup in Ukraine 10 years ago. It had been reported as Vladimir Putin and Barack Obama engage in war of words over Ukraine. Finland will host a NATO land command and troops. Putin claims he did not plan to storm Kiev in 2022. G7 says Russia should pay almost $500 billion to Ukraine in compensation of damage. North Korean cyberattacks on Brazilian fintech firms exposed. FTC data shows major increases in cash payments to